Well, I wanted to tell them, but I thought that the government would punish me.
Ruth was hiding a secret from her own family. The people who told her to keep quiet were the ones robbing her blind. An elderly woman gets a call from someone claiming to be from the government. They tell her her computer's been hacked, her money isn't safe, and she needs to act fast and quietly. By the time her daughter finds out, the life savings are already gone. Here on Love or Lie, we don't look away from these stories. This one's about a family, a bank that had every chance to stop it, and a system that keeps letting this happen. Stick with me on this one. Her name is Ruth. We don't know her last name. Her daughter Leslie asked the press not to use it. What we do know is that Ruth is elderly. She had an investment account with Charles Schwab, and she had a life savings. Money she'd spent decades building. The kind of money you accumulate slowly and carefully when you're not rich. You just show up, you work, you save, and eventually there's something there to show for it. Ruth had a daughter who loved her. Leslie was listed as a trusted contact on Ruth's Schwab account, which means someone at that firm knew what Leslie existed and knew she was there to be called if something looked wrong. That detail matters. Hold on to it. Ruth was living her life. She wasn't reckless. She wasn't confused about who she was or what she had. She was just a woman with a computer and a savings account, and that was enough for the people who came for her. It starts with her computer. Someone contacts Ruth, posing as an IT expert, possibly from the government, possibly from a tech company. The framing shifts. But the core pitch is the same, and tells her that her computer has been hacked. Her accounts are at risk. Her money is not safe where it is, but there's a solution. Gold. Physical gold. The government, they tell her, wants her to convert her savings into gold bars for safekeeping. It's a real investment, they say. It's protected. It's what you do when the digital world has been compromised. This is a script. They run it on thousands of people. But to Ruth, sitting alone with a compromised computer and a voice on the phone telling her the government is involved, it felt like the truth. And then they added the one instruction that sealed everything. Don't tell your family. I didn't talk to my family about it. They told her the reason. They told her if she told anyone, especially family, the government would punish her. That the people she loved could get into trouble. So Ruth, who was trying to protect her daughter, stayed quiet and kept moving her money. I wanted to tell them, but I thought the government would punish me, and I didn't want them to get into trouble.
Well, I wanted to tell them, but I thought that the government would punish me, and I didn't want them to get into trouble, anybody that I told.
She wasn't protecting a secret, she was protecting her kids. That's what they exploited. A mother's instinct to keep her family safe. Here's how you move an elderly woman's life savings without anyone stopping you. You keep her on the phone, you feed her a reason for every step. You make each individual action feel small and logical, withdraw some here, convert it there, hand it to a courier who's with the government. None of it feels like one big decision. It's just a series of small ones, each one following naturally from the last. Ruth went to Charles Schwab, she made transactions, she moved money, she wired funds. And at some point, we don't know exactly when, she started buying gold. Physical gold bars handed over to people she believed were government operatives keeping her savings safe. Charles Schwab had Leslie's name and number on file as a trusted contact. When the large transactions started happening, when the wire transfers started going out, Schwab did eventually reach out.
I'll never forget, there was a message on my phone.
Hello, I'm calling with Charles Schwab with the Financial Crimes Investigations team.
They just mentioned large transactions and wire transfers, and did I know what was taking place?
And you didn't?
No, I didn't.
That voicemail Leslie got, I'm calling with Charles Schwab with the Financial Crimes Investigations team. That was them flagging something was wrong. But by then, how much was already gone? Leslie found out. She confronted her mom. She asked the question that should have unlocked everything. Where's the gold, Mom? Is it at home? A safety deposit box? Ruth wouldn't say.
Where is the gold? Is it in your apartment? Is it in a safety deposit box? Where is the gold? And she wouldn't tell us.
Because she still believed. Or maybe because she was scared. or maybe because after being told for weeks that talking to your family puts them in danger, the instinct to protect them doesn't just switch off the moment your daughter asks. The money, all of it, Ruth's life savings, was gone. If this story is hitting you, that's the point. Share it with someone who has an elderly parent, a grandparent, anyone who lives alone and trusts phone calls. A share right now could be the thing that stops this from happening to someone you love. Back to Ruth. Ruth lost her life savings. The exact amount hasn't been made public, but the scale of what these operations pull in gives you a sense. Investigators say these overseas scam networks are taking billions from Americans every year. Ruth is one of tens of thousands of victims this year alone. And here's what Leslie has to live with. The information was there. Her name was in Schwab's system. She was the trusted contact. The firm called her after the wire transfers, after the gold purchases, after the damage was done. Charles Schwab declined an interview. Their position, explained through a spokesperson, is essentially this. When a client calls and says they want to move their own money, it's not the bank's place to stop them. If they blocked every unusual transaction and a customer turned out to be making a legitimate investment, the bank is liable. They want government legislation that explicitly authorizes them to intervene, a legal green light to say no. That's not a crazy position on its own. But Ruth's name was in their system with Leslie's number next to it for exactly this reason, and the call came after. These aren't lone wolves running scams from a laptop. CBS News sent a correspondent into an actual boiler room in Ghana, a room full of people, organized, running scripts, calling Americans all day, extracting hundreds of millions of dollars. They build trust over weeks or months. They know the scripts. They know which fears to push. The government will punish you. Line isn't an accident. It's a tested tool that specifically neutralizes the one defense most elderly people have, which is their family. The FBI says Americans lost over $3.4 billion to elder fraud in a single recent year. Tech support scams like the one targeting Ruth are among the fastest growing, and the gold angle specifically, handing physical gold to a courier, is exploding because it bypasses every digital tripwire a bank might have. Some credit unions are doing it right. There's one in Iowa where tellers are trained to flag sudden changes in withdrawal patterns, pull up the trusted contact on file, and call the family before the money leaves. They have relationships with local police. It works. It just requires someone to decide that stopping a robbery matters more than avoiding an awkward conversation. As of the time this report aired, Ruth's money had not been recovered. The scammers, operating overseas, face no immediate legal consequences. Charles Schwab's investigation into the case was ongoing with no public resolution. Leslie is left with the voicemail she never wanted to get and a mother who spent weeks protecting her family by staying silent while strangers emptied her account. Ruth didn't make a dumb mistake, she made a human one. Someone told her the people she loved were in danger if she talked. So, she didn't talk. She tried to fix it quietly, alone, the way you do when you think you're protecting your kids. And the people on the other end of that phone knew she would. They counted on it. Her name was in the system. The number was there. The call came too late. I'm Jack. If this story made you want to call your mom today, do it. Tell her what this looks like. Forward this to someone who needs it. There's another story coming next week. I'll see you then.